Welcome back to 2012 Reimagined. We are here at first Duel in preparation for the Daytona 500. We'll have 30 laps here to see who gets in. Jeff Burton on pole for Duel number 1 is, here we go, green. We're going to see who gets in. Top 15 preferably. As we start now, 3 wide, Clint Boyer with the AJ Allmendinger push. That's going to be very aggressive start for these drivers. They're already 3 wide throughout here. See what they do with it. Those drivers in the back trying to catch up to this draft, since a lot of them are starting to get fast early on. The continued 3 wide is pretty aggressive to start this race. We'll see how it goes. Those in the back trying not to lose draft. Those in the front trying to defend. Now the middle lane's where you get stuck. That's where guys like Biffle, Martin, Castle are. Now the bottom's going to get runs. We're still consistently 3 wide. Terry Labonte pushing his way up. We'll see what's going to happen here. As more drivers kind of plugging into this group here to see if they can get something going. I think both the Labontes are going to be up front here by the end of the lap, but the 9's going to try the middle. It's going to leave the bottom exposed. That's what's been happening here. Can't leave that much on the bottom. It's going to be bad news if you do. Tony Raines, driver who kind of needs this top 15. He's going to kind of float around the middle here. Doesn't want to be too much of an inconvenience of a 34 who's up there in second. And now they're all going down the track. Montoya getting aggressive. Three wide at the front still. Plenty of 3 wide at the front. That's been happening this race. 47's a little slow up there. Down the back. Some of our faster drivers kind of planting back there. 99, Carl Edwards. He'll get back in the draft. So it shouldn't surprise me about the aggression from the slower cars, because they need this more. We'll see what's going to happen here. There are some drivers who absolutely need to not mess this up. David Stremme is one of those drivers who absolutely needs to not screw this up. I think Bill Elliott's in the same page right here, because there's no guarantee that Bill will be able to use a champion's provisional, especially if the 32 isn't going to make it in the top 15 either. There's a lot of variables to consider here. Martin in the middle. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has gotten to the low side. It'd be hard to find a safe place in Daytona, but the low side's probably a better bet. With high speeds, everything going up the track, when you're this close, I'd say it's probably best to skirt by low for the time being. Plus, you can usually use a little bit of extra track when they start wrecking to try to dodge it. Casey Mears out front, got Junior sitting on a pretty good car right here. Greg Biffle couple rows back. There's no guarantee that they're gonna make it green all the way. There's probably something brewing. I thought I might have saw Dave Blaney get a little aggressive. Someone who should be playing it safe. The 36. Absolutely another driver who is in a do or die situation. And the 37 down there, Mike Wallace, has it just as bad. The 23 23 is in a pretty deep hole. He's one that you can't really risk having a bad day because he's got to make it in top 15 or bust. Greg Biffle's doing a fine job. He's got nothing considerably to worry about here. But it's best to not take your chances, even if you are secure like the 16. 88's trying to get that push, but Danica Patrick out front. The 10 this year, but 10 is going to be a jointly owned. Some races by Stewart Haas Racing, others will be Tommy Baldwin's 10. Just the shifting nature of plate racing. You think you're good, but then you try to line back up on the straightaways. The guys on the bottom are still organized and they get you. Montoya, right in there, middle of 3. There's a hole for the 22 to come down low. Don't think I'll take it. I know he and the 88 go down. Finding those holes are pretty effective in actually getting to the lead here because you don't want to be stuck in the middle or get sent back late in the going. That'll absolutely kill your run. Yeah, 36 is... I thought 31 would do something, but... yeah, don't see anyone wanting to be aggressive because if you stay in your lane and just not make any trouble, then you're guaranteed to go to the end and you have a pretty decent shot at the top 15, but who's to say it may or may not happen? I saw Clint Boyer back there. He just has to give his teammate a little slack, so let Martin in. It's not worth racing him that hard for the spot. The distance that Tony Raines and AJ Allmendinger have put up there, that's pretty impressive. AJ with a pretty good lead. Seem to be kind of just putting a little safe cushion there. The 22 rolling very solidly here. Greg Biffle trying to surge with the low side. Come on in, see what he's got. I think now they're starting to close the gap, or at least not let him get away too hard. That's what McMurray wants to do, is break up that draft up there. No one's really given the one help, but here it comes. Once those guys get to the back of the one, that's when they'll really start pushing hard. They just kind of left the 37 to dry out there in the middle. Man, that's kind of cold. AJ still pulling out. Not really needing any friends out there, but they're going to catch up. He's going to need them soon. Whoo-wee. Mark Martin, just stay your lane. Got to manage the middle here. Don't want to mess it up. Terry Labonte pushing bottom. Landon Castle there as well. They're going to leave him out on the middle, 83, and the 56 is up there as well. All three Michael Waltrip cars hemmed up on the top, coming out of 4. Definitely trying to get more experience drafting straightaways together here. I couldn't tell you where 15th is. The front few seem to be just kind of doing their own thing. Definitely gotta watch those mid-packers. They definitely seem to be a bit more, like, on edge here. Especially with the dominance of a 22 here. AJ has been so fast. It's kind of hard to get a run on and catch him. Terry Labonte is going to try and give it a shot. They're all over the place back there. More strung out than ever. Casey Mears is here. They gotta be able to keep going. It's a 30-lap race. They should be able to make it 1X. Let's see what happens. They're getting more strung out. Now that means the runs will be a bit stronger for the time being. Jeff Burton definitely wanting to take it here. Ambrose. Here, I think Montoya's like just there. There's a lot of drivers on the bottom. They're formed up a pretty sizable train. Not sure, seeing the outside. Are all 25 drivers still in the league group? I believe they are. Back to Bill Elliott. Now I think the aggression might be starting to pick up back up right where it left off, because they're trying to get the 22, just unseat the 22 from the front. He's got himself a bad fast car for this duel. I'm not sure if it's just not anyone willing to pass him or team up on him. Ambrose and Patrick have a chance. I think Patrick's going to try and swing by, but, like, Ambrose has to give second, and that makes it harder for the bottom to get it going when the 10 has to try to be the one that knows under Allmendinger. It just doesn't happen. AJ Allmendinger's really been kind of the class of the field right now. I don't really know what else to say. Just seeing how aggressive it is on the bottom, but, like, despite him giving it up so many times, there has not been a single driver to get to him. Edwards is right on his tail. I think Edwards has to be the one to make the move. I don't see it being anyone else. Not for a lack of trying for the 99 at least. He's giving it everything he's got. Now they're all stuck top of the front. These three. Bain. Now Bain does it. Just third place, kind of just having crabs in a bucket mentality whenever they get into a turn. Now Bain slits into second and wants to be the one to do it. Edwards and Casey Mears, they're fighting back. Trevor Bain, Mears, it's got to come from the 99. There's no other way. They just keep on trying to pace it around, not really do anything here with it. Oh, I think Edwards finally going to get a piece of the 22. That led for a lot of laps, but they're passing him now. Casey Mears to the front now. Here come the challengers. These drivers do not want to make a mistake now. David Reagan, David Stremme. 34 is at least protecting decently so far, but I think 98 is going to get him here with the push. Michael McDowell is going to come straight through. And, yep, that's what happened. Straight up going down. Oh, Stremme makes contact. There goes the 97. And a big wreck. Big AJ on his roof. Dave Blaney involved. Truex. Tony Raines. Jeff Burton. Danica Patrick. Bobby Labonte's in it. It's gonna be big. And David Stremme causing the big wreck of the duel. I mean, he really just came down on the 32. Exactly. And as soon as he gets it, he hooks into Bill Elliott. And that just gets so many people involved. Oh, Blaney and Terry Labonte both involved like that. And then it's on from here. Bill Elliott just comes back up into the pack with big damage. Mark Martin's in it. Allmendinger, Blaney, Boyer, Bain, Patrick. Truex is in it as well. Burton. Bobby Labonte is going to hit Terry. What a mess that is. Let's go. On board with Tony Raines. You can see it right as it comes in. Something's wrong, and by the time it comes back on, it's just way too late. Oh. Plenty of smoke and damage there. Raines trying to get through the grass to navigate around that one. And I think another on board will be Dale Earnhardt Jr. Oh yeah, at the apron you can see it right there. Earnhardt just doing a great job getting through there. A little bit of a rough transition, but he's fine there. What a mess. Bill Elliott, Allmendinger, Truex, Terry Labonte, McMurray, Bobby Labonte, Mark Martin, Jeff Burton, Trevor Bain. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout to this moment, I believe. 16 cars on track, so the slowest car on track isn't going to make it in. Everyone else is in. Landon Castle's out front of David Reagan, Michael McDowell, Casey Mears, Greg Biffle, Montoya, Robert Richardson Jr. in 7th, Marcos Ambrose in 8th, Mike Wallace in 9th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. rounding out the top 10. And everyone back to Stremme currently has a spot in the 500. 2 laps to go. Let's see what can come of it. Green's back out. Casey Mears, Montoya, Reagan, pushing Castle. Meanwhile, Stremme is able to run. Blaney has to hold off Clint Boyer to get into the 500. Meanwhile, Reagan, Montoya, pushing low. They're going to try and take the lead from the 83. Reagan is there. Meanwhile, Dave Blaney is losing speed. Boyer has passed him for the final spot. Here comes the guys down low. Reagan, Montoya. White flag in the air. One more time around. This is Montoya. Going for the front. He's trying to prove his worth here. Montoya has something to prove. 23, Robert Richardson Jr. of R3 Racing has done a great job dodging all the unfortunate incidents today and has put himself in a position to potentially take it. But Ambrose gets to his low side. Juan Pablo Montoya coming off a turn 4. It's going to be for Daytona. The duel that'll get him into the 500. Montoya wins the first duel. And as the two back markers hobble across the line, David Stremme will make the field. This is dangerous for Dave Blaney. He has very high chances of not making the field this time. A very bitter end to the Golden Corral machine. Kids, will not be eating free. And those are the results from the first Daytona Duel. That is all for this race. See you quickly for Duel 2.